As always, we're coming to you always ultimately professional. I look like a homeless man. We're late by 2 days. And we've done so much prep work that we even put an agenda out there for a second. The Mariners come off their first win in 7.5 years. And we are going to be joined by Bruce. Bruce, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. Thank you. Are you? I was going to wish you a happy new year, and then I remembered that I couldn't keep up with when we'd last recorded, but we did the one at the club, didn't we? I don't know if you did one after, whether we did one after that. It doesn't feel like we did. And that was this year, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, it was 3rd of January, wasn't it? Just before everyone went back to work, because you had to turn around and go straight back.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And we're also joined by Scott as well. Scott, how are you? Welcome back.
Hello.
Do you ever have any problems with your voice recovering after commentating for 90 minutes, or is it all smooth as silk all the way through?
Well, here's a bit of inside knowledge. Last Tuesday, I felt like crap, and then I had to do the Halifax game and talk for 2 hours. And honestly, it was a struggle. But yeah, it was very hoarse after that game, and Saturday as well, but for good reason.
I mean, where do you want to start? We've got a fair bit to go through, really, when we're talking about the games. We went back against Halifax after a last-minute equaliser. And to be honest, we've come off 2 games against them where, weirdly, for the vast majority of the time, we were the much better side. Is that sort of your takeaway from it as well, Scott? And then Bruce, I'll come to you. I know you weren't there, but neither was I.
Yeah. So we had those 2 games against Halifax, who were top of the league, and I thought we played really well. Probably not as good as the one at the Shea, as we did at Blundell Park, but still, there was only a penalty between the 2 sides. And then the game on Saturday against Altrincham, I think everyone's come away. All right, Altrincham weren't the greatest side we've ever seen. They're probably on a par with Dover as a pretty poor side.
Brutal.
but still,
shit up Altrincham.
Well, we were shit only beating them 2-0.
Well, in all honesty, if you look at the highlights, and I did forget, I watched the highlights yesterday. It could have been about 4 or 5, and it should have been really. Their keeper made that brilliant save from Luke Waterfall just before half time with the header. But I think I've not come away from the last 3 games thinking, we're crap and it's all doom and gloom. The last time that I was like that was the Stockport game, the trophy game, but which didn't matter anyway.
Well, you were the only one that went.
Yeah, me and Crofty and his girlfriend. Yeah.
I mean, can I ask you a question? Because it kind of leads on to something I was going to ask, because I'm doing my best to not be too low, but also not be too high. Is there any concern that it took 2 worldy efforts to break down Altrincham?
I was going to say
that. Or is that
what
not
would
an
you say
issue?
to that, Bruce?
No, sorry. I was going to say I was going to say that for all the possession and like Alex has sort of stolen the thunder a little bit, but yeah, I felt the same. Now, don't get me wrong, I thoroughly enjoyed. Although I did see the first one in the bar because we hadn't finished drinking, but I did see it. Unlike some that were halfway between the bar and the ground. I mean, what a goal to miss! We did see it on telly in the lower bar, but
you didn't see it?
No, we saw it, but not live on the telly in the bar.
Oh my God! It's one of the best goals I think I've ever seen live, Bruce.
Oh, it was good. It was good.
It was no good. It was not as good as Chris Jones's goal in the relegation season, which went in off his arse.
Off his arse against Burton. No.
And I voted that goal of the season.
Yes, it was a brilliant strike, and we enjoyed it in the bar. Like I say, I just hadn't finished. What was it after half time? A couple of minutes?
Yeah, it was about a minute and a half. Do you know what? I didn't even think about that because obviously I'm not drinking at half time, but I didn't even think about that.
You could do. That'd be fun.
Yeah, let's not go there. There'd be libel cases all over the place, I think. I didn't even think that, and I didn't even appreciate how many people would have missed it. But yeah, I guess now, Bruce, you say that, yeah.
Yeah, the
That's
ones
really
that, you know, even worse. Like I say, we did see it, albeit on the telly, but we did see it. But you know, there'll have been some that were sort of like, I must go for a wee before the second half starts. It must, you know, and then oh, there's only one cubicle for the ladies with toilet roll in the main stand, so there was a queue of 30 about it. You know, they're all stood behind the stand. At least we got to see the goal.
Well, you've got to worry for all these football hipsters now that follow this football scran account or whatever it is on Twitter. They're all coming up to Blundell Park to get a £7 burger that they're all salivating over, and then they've been queuing for 45 minutes for it in the half time. They're going to miss half these decent worldly goals now. They would have been disappointed. What are they going to Instagram?
And anybody that's just finishing the pint in the fan zone as well at half time they don't have the benefit of tellies in there like we do we did on Saturday because it was a bit chilly, so we went inside. But yeah, there was a couple of lads I spoke to that had just heard the cheer, Scott, and missed the greatest goal since whenever. Yeah, so you were very lucky. I was a bit lucky, and there were quite a few unluckies, I think.
It was one of those. It was in as soon as it left his foot, and I'm not claiming to be a footballer by any stretch, but I think when you hit a shot like that off your boot, you don't even feel it come off your boot. Do you know what I mean? It's like it was just it just flew, and he struck it so sweetly. The keeper did get a touch. Tony Thompson, the goalkeeper for Altrincham, did get a touch, but it was
Villain.
It was an absolute rocket. The villain of the piece.
The pantomime villain. I've never known a keeper get injured like that since I was playing under 11s. He had the trainer on about 5 times, and oh god, he was slow. But yeah,
he made a stunning save, didn't he? Point blank in the first half.
He didn't know much about it. It was Luke Waterfall's header from a corner. Lloyd said to me afterwards, it makes him feel like he could still be a professional goalkeeper.
I'm not sure that's a very high benchmark, but we'll give him that. Yeah, it was.
I've just realised Hobby City's on in the background. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn it off. You don't want to be a spoiler for people that are watching the pod and recording Holby, do you?
Might be some kind of copyright claim on that as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, says the BBC freelancer. Yeah, there we go. Sir.
Give me a £5, I won't sell.
Wondering why all of a sudden the podcast has gone up to 16.5 million in Tokyo or something because we're all massive Holby City fans and don't get it for a week.
Oh dear, but yeah, it was good, and yeah, it was a reasonable performance. As you say, I'd like us to have stuck away a few of the fairly clear cut chances that we had, but boy, yeah, 2 special goals to win it. The second one was a bit weird. I mean, I don't condone. I don't usually like people with the phones out. I'm one of the old school that likes people to sort of live for the moment, but we did get. I think you put Alex, didn't you, on the pod account that we got some fantastic angles of the goal. We got them from everywhere, didn't we? They were in the main stand. They were from the pontoon. There were 3 sides of the ground that were the videos we got, and they were 2 really good goals. But yeah, we need to be more ruthless with the inside the 6-yard box, I think.
I got to admit though, I'm really thankful for those fans that either stay in the bar and record it or record any set piece we've got, because us poor sods out here in the sticks, we don't get to see it. We don't, unless like 19 hours later, we don't get to see anything of it. So it's a bit of it's a nice one to see and to have them there. And it is, you're right, Bruce. Like as we were saying, it's great to have those cameras. I've been pretending to be a scout and looking at players we could bring in, and I've been watching Sharman from Darlington. I think they've mentioned him already, but he's pretty good. But Darlington highlights, they've got 2 or 3 different cameras. I'm like, what's going on at Darlington to do that? And it just looks great. It looks and that's the stuff that people see, isn't it? So if we can get Liam's, I kind of think of Liam's stuff separate. Like BT used to do that, or do they still do that? Like, I don't know what they call it, but afterwards they do like wider shots there, like Liam does, and he gets the real atmosphere. Like if the highlights package was a bit like, look how Narky Woking got when we nicked theirs and stuck their logo.
Do you think that when we're on a shit run and Liam doesn't have to and when we don't produce the match day moments, like Liam has to go and help wash the kit and stuff? Do you think like we have that it's quite hard when you've been sort of spanked away from home, and we might let slip a week where we don't have a match day moments because there weren't really many moments. Does he have to go and help cut the grass and do stuff like that? Do you think?
Well, I mean, we could ask him. I mean, someone put it to Liam. He might even listen. I don't know. But what does he do if he doesn't? If he's got nothing there? It's like, we didn't even have a shot on target. What am I going to do? Just put a 3.5 minute footage of together of Bruce eating a burger? Like, what do you want me
It
to
doesn't take
put
that
out?
long, mate.
Yeah. Well, you seen the size of those.
It's gone.
Right, let's go through some of these. Look, if you want to get some comments in, it'd be really good because one of two reasons. We haven't done any planning, and it's always appreciated when we get your thoughts in. So throw it into the chat. If not, I've got the Twitter open as well, so I can always read what you put in there. So Stephen McDay says, I don't blow smoke up his arse. I do enjoy Scott's commentary. For us expats, it's nice to have a commentary where we get a true feeling of the game.
Thank you, Stephen. That's very nice. That's very kind of you to say so. But just don't forget JT is still the voice of the Mariners. But
he does shit you up though, John. When the opposition get into your half and you sound like he sounds like we're about to concede, and then he goes and the defender's carrying it across the halfway line, and you're thinking that they're inside the penalty area. Oh,
I want John Tonder as my sat nav because I would literally do everything in such panic emotions. Turn right.
You believe in your house, mate. You get on the M25 and he'd say you were arriving.
Yeah,
you are arriving. You are approaching your destination.
Turn. He'd say turn left in such a dramatic way but it's still the junction's like 3.5 miles away. It's like I'm already over on the left.
Scott's thinking, I'll let these two talk. I can't join in this conversation. I might never phone me again.
Of Tonder and
we'll have Dave Burns back on the town games because he can't do Hull.
A combination of JT and John Moore doing the sat nav. John Moore would just be crikey.
Yeah, every time you get the junction right. My favourite bit of John Moore commentary was I think it was a goal of the season against Port Vale in 1999, and Lee Ashcroft scored it. And all it was he was going, he can't do that. Oh, he's gone too far. He's done too much. And then he blasts it in from an angle of 3 degrees, roof of the net. And he's going, there's me almost criticising Lee Ashcroft there. It's like, you just spent 2.5 hours criticising him.
Did you see that one that I posted the other day where he's on the side? He's made a mistake because he's called somebody not having a shot, and he's like, oh, hang on a minute. It was I think it was it Jamie Devitt? It was a Jamie Devitt free kick, I think, that I put on the other day, and he's like, he got it wrong, and he said that he was going to cross, and he had a shot, and he scored, and then he had about a 5-minute ramble then to himself, which was absolutely I couldn't stop listening. It was brilliant, but he's going. I bet over in the main stand on the far side, they're sat there thinking, "Who is this idiot? Why does he do this job that he does?" And he just was basically just talking to himself. Now he's not got Rowley or anyone. He was just like chatting to himself for about 5 minutes. But I couldn't stop listening.
There was a clip of him. I think it was the Chesterfield game when whoever it was scored. He just went, "Yep," and just so pissed off that they scored in the last few minutes. Yeah, there you go. That's what you expect.
I spoke to him on Saturday after the game. I was in Doc's Beers and I met him for the first time. And I don't think he'll mind me saying, "Do you know what he does for a living, in the week?"
No, what does he do?
He works in a funeral directors.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh, can I please get
the jokes were there?
I thought you were going to say John Tonder's chauffeur.
I want him to do my eulogy. Like when I'm going past through the curtains, all his back of the net, crikey.
Yeah. Alex's the eulogy. Yeah, the first part of Alex's life was yes. No.
There's me almost criticising him. Si Hoda said, "Does Liam joining the players at training the sprints towards the goal scorers along the front of the pontoon are definitely getting quick?" I mean, they are. I've got to give him that. Maybe he's feeling. He's gone over arse over tit a couple of times, if I remember rightly, and I kind of want to see those in a blooper reel.
I chuckle every time I see him walk past us because generally, obviously, we sit at the Osman end of the lower, and generally we attack the Osman in the first half unless some annoying people turn us round.
And a shithouse team.
I just watched Liam walk past though because he always comes from the pontoon way. But it just reminds me of the game earlier in the season where he went to the wrong end and we just sort of he watched him. He sort of went to the Osmond, sort of hadn't really paid attention or wasn't thinking or whatever. Went to the Osmond, started to sit down, and then he realised that it was the wrong goalkeeper that he was in front of him, and he just see him pick his gear up and go back down the other end again. And every time I see him walk past, I just have a chuckle and think, yeah, is he going the right? I have a little check. Is he going the right way today? But yeah, he's a good lad. Good lad.
It's always worth watching him in away games and getting grief from stewards. He had the same at Maidenhead. It's going to be interesting to see what Boreham would allow because they're always notable sticklers. Do we know about that, Scott? It's quite a few weeks in advance, but a Humberside got. Do you know if BBC allowed commentary at Boreham Wood nowadays? Because they never used to be able to.
Did they not?
No, they're a bit of a shit.
When is it?
I want to say February. If anybody knows when we play Boreham Wood way, throw it in. Because I'm pretty sure it's Feb or maybe March.
We spent about half an hour chatting about Boreham Wood away in preparation for the home game, getting confused, didn't we?
Well, we know EastEnders, the Queen Vic is the nearest pub.
Yeah.
Richard Young says he agrees with me and Bruce. He agrees with us that said the lack of ruthlessness in front of goal. Max Wright putting 2 or 3 superb balls into the box, which were begging for a poacher to be on the end of. Poacher, you say? Anyone got any ideas of who we could be getting in? Mariner Hodo said, I think all the fans in the pontoon sprinted miles to get to the front. I can imagine it was an absolute beauty of a goal. I loved it. And Stephen Bay said, on a serious note, I do feel that the referee quality in non-league is definitely on a downward curve. Really poor quality in most games. What was it like at the weekend then? I mean, we can talk about the Halifax one in a minute, but how was the referee on Saturday?
I'm just used to it now. It's neither here or there for me now. I'm just used to them being average.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's very
I didn't notice him particularly because we won.
Fine.
You tend to notice more when you don't score and you concede, like the Halifax game, isn't it? And the soft penalty, or that was or wasn't. But yeah, when you win, you don't tend to sort of say, "Oh, the referee was crap." Do you? It doesn't really matter too much. I didn't notice too much.
It was a penalty. The one at Halifax was a penalty,
but it was soft as fuck. Given like the 19 or 20 rugby tackles that we had throughout the 2-game like second leg, and then just to come in, it's just a bit disheartening.
Yeah. He was like a lumberjack with a blunt axe, though, wasn't he? He chopped at him about 4 times before he finally tumbled over.
You can't expect our players to be, ruthless.
It did look shambolic though. The shape. I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but I saw the goal after, and we just looked like 2 or 3 passes just pulled the whole team apart. We looked like a jigsaw where somebody just shook it up in the box. The players were all over the place, out of position and everything.
Ollie says, nice to see the club investing as well. Liam had a new stick attached to his camera this week. I assume it's just in case, someone tries to half-inch it halfway through. But I've offered Liam, look, I've got a great GoPro here. If he wants 90s style, football Italia, cameras in the back of the nets. I mean, imagine the camera in the back of the net for McAtee and McDrew strike. That would have been amazing. I sounded like John Moore then trying to say his name. That would have been amazing. Yeah.
I think you want one of them. You could put one of them on his head, couldn't you? You said you wanted to see a video of Liam.
Like the train
you could
guy.
have one of them on Liam's head during the game.
Do you want it like the train guy then? Like, when he's doing his little train spotting and the fisheye lens to see how delighted he is with the goals. I mean, that's a great idea. I mean, if he's up for it, we'll get it sorted. Rematerialized said there was a weird part where the linesman didn't flag for a ball going out of play and almost like it was playing advantage and called it back for a throw in 5 seconds. Did that happen, guys? That
was in the lower. The linesman did. Yeah, it was our side. The linesman did look like he was quite old for a linesman, and he's probably my age, to be fair. But he did struggle. There was one incident, but what gets me in modern football is where the referee looks at the linesman and the linesman looks at the referee, and they just have a moment, and nothing happens for about 5 seconds, and then the referee finally points his flag, and points his arm which way the throw-in's going, and then the linesman puts his flag up, and yeah, you're all right, lads, on we go. And neither of them have really got a clue what's going on, but nobody wants to make the decision. It was a bit like that, and he did let them play on, and then suddenly started flagging. It was like the modern the Premier League offsides, where they let the game go on for about 10 minutes, and then, oh, sorry, lads, you were offside.
Ollie said when BT came, they attached GoPros to the post holding up the net. It's the only time I wish we were on BT. I mean, I don't really like BT really. Apparently, Marin Hoda says Altringham's keeper is 27 years old.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
He looks like he had a tough paper round, even in the highlights.
Hang on, let me check that. Is he 27?
I thought that, just going back to the previous question or statement from Ollie, I thought he was going to suggest that we nick some of the cameras next time.
I mean, I'm quite surprised that hasn't happened. Let's be entirely honest. I've always got this image of people trying to, half inch the TV screen. Scott's got his notes out.
I got my notes from Saturday. He's 27. Tony Thompson's 27.
Tony Thompson. It sounds like he should have been playing in the 1890s, doesn't he, Tony Thompson?
And he looked it. He had the proper traditional.
He looked like he
green
started
on,
then,
didn't he? He was in shorts though, wasn't he? He wasn't in leggings or
proper traditional green, all green kit.
Nick Rook says 27 stone. That's rude. That's about my goal weight. That is.
I was going to say that, but I thought better of it for a change.
That's my goal weight. Right. I mean, have we spent enough on our expert analysis on Halifax's game and Altrincham? Is it all fixed? Are we back to it? Hurst in? Screw the
bowlers? What's everyone saying online? I've not really looked, but are all the Hurst haters still out there after Saturday?
No, they'll be quiet. They'll be quiet. I'm not in either camp. I'll lay my cards on the table. I'm not neither massively pro Hurst or against him. But it's like anything, isn't it? It's like the Man U and Liverpool fans on Facebook. The armchair ones that it's all quiet this week on here, isn't it? When they've won, and then the next week when they've lost, everyone's laying into them. It's a little bit like that, and that's the way social media works, isn't it? There was no Hurst out this week, but. If we lose again or we draw again the next time, and they'll be back, won't they? That's just the nature of the beast, I would say. Alex, I don't know. You go on there like I do. That's pretty fair, isn't it? There's not been any mention of Hurst out this week, has there?
I found. I think we were all talking about it on our little WhatsApp group. I found social media in the last couple of weeks for Town really tiresome, like a real drag. Whether it be both sides going over the top about the fucking flag, like it's a flag on the badge. I'm not a massive. I don't think it's amazing, but I don't think it's the work of the devil. And if it's what the new owners want to do after they've sunk $3 million into the club, then stick it on the badge and get on with it. And I just think and the same with Hurst in and Hurst out. Like you just get. It's turned into normal Twitter, like all bullshit of all Town, aren't we? People like having a go at one another, shouting at one another. Granted, Tom told someone he was a melt, but I mean that's Tom. I don't know. It's just I found the last couple of weeks so draining on social media to listen to.
I agree. I think that it's more the Hurst out that abuse the people, not necessarily the Hurst in, but the ones that try to be positive or remain positive. I don't think you see people hijacking other posts and things like that with, like somebody said that says Hurst out and 2 or 3 people agree. I don't think you then have somebody saying something in an aggressive manner the other way. I think it's more that way. Whether that's just the nature of the fact that someone feels that way, obviously they're more angry, so therefore does that make sense? They're going to probably be more animated, but yeah, we'll see what happens because we've got coming up. We've got some interesting games, haven't we? Bromley on Saturday. That looks like they might not have a manager by then. One of my mates can't wait for playing them because remembers clearly. I think you went to Bromley, Alex, didn't you?
I fucking hate Bromley.
And Andy Woodman was, and his players were completely bang out of order according to most that were there.
It was beyond the pale. I've never seen anything like it. It was completely and utterly unprofessional. I understand full well about being a shithouse and doing that. If you want to do that, that's fine. I think sometimes we need to be more like that. But there are 700 fans there, nearly as many home fans in that fucking leisure centre of a stadium who had to get off at 10:30 because, the under 5 Beavers have got the fucking pitch hired out. And they're in there. They're in the pissing rain because your ground doesn't have a fucking roof, even though they were invented in the 3rd century. And we've got a fucking stand there getting soaked to it, paying 15, 20 quid for the fucking privilege. And every time your fucking part-time lot and your 43-year-old Michael Cheap fucking come over, giving it the big un like you've just scored against him. Well, I hope they made a lot of fucking money on the DVD sales is all I can fucking say. Fuck them. And I hope that fat fuck comes down here and gets laid out because I fucking hate him. Henry's coming in now, so we can have
Well, yeah,
but I don't like
feels
Bromley.
Andy feels exactly the same.
Why don't you tell us how you really feel, Alex?
Don't like Bromley. Fuck him.
Have I missed an Alex rant?
Yes.
I don't like Bromley. Did you come to Bromley?
Well, we got badge of honour for that.
You went to Bromley, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I was next to you in the piss.
Yeah. I mean, the water sort of vaporized my memory. What are your thoughts on Bromley? Let's get a doctor's opinion on Bromley.
What about the game?
How you feel about the team and them in general?
A bunch of absolute shysters. I think it's the best way to describe it, isn't it? I mean, they were like winning that game on a AstroTurf pitch in September was like their bloody FA Cup final. It felt like the way they behaved. So I hope that the main stand gives them plenty of jip and we beat them 5-0.
He might not be here. That's the problem. That's what we were just talking about. He's getting taken up. Is he getting pounced away or something? He's been lured away by the bright lights of Gillingham.
To replace, yeah, you'll never guess who he's going to replace Henry, like for like.
If I was going to say, if we're lucky, then Bromley will bring old Fatty Evans in, and we'll have a great time.
Swap.
We did say, like, if they're going to swap one fat shithouse for another, at least they don't have to change the size of the fucking tracksuits they give out to the managers. But I still think we should get Kevin Donovan in because he was the goalkeeper that he rounded. I mean, thank God he did it in his however old he was then, because if he did it now, Kevin Donovan would have been running around him for about 2.5 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks for that joke. I'd like him to have an award, like just giving him an award in front of him would have been wonderful. Yeah, fuck him. Who do they think they are? Fucking Bromley. Get back to your David Bowie loving.
I hope he stays the rest of the week.
Yeah, me too.
Have your shoes dried out yet, or anything from September?
No, everything shrunk. And I don't. That's the thing. Like, you stood in the rain, and the crowd. There's like 300 people in the home end, and they've got roofs and everything. It's like, just move them all onto a bloody bus corner or something, and they can sit under a bus stop, and we can have a stand that's got a roof on. Anyway, there's lots of going on the chat. Mariner Hoda is asking about Barnet theme. Yeah, I said Vikings. Me and Trev said Vikings. I don't know if that gets a thumbs up from everyone. I don't know if Christine is going to be very happy with us if we turn up as a Viking horde.
We were discussing Barnet away in the pub before the game on Saturday, and we came up with some alternative. 1878 flags at Barnet. That's what we came up with. We should all buy
dresses them or bring them.
just everyone buy an 1878 flag to wave about. I think is what we came up with as an alternative to Vikings.
I mean, why
I
can't
think
we
just sneaking inflatables in and blow them up when we get there, when we're in the ground.
Do you want to go old school? Scott, what are your thoughts?
It's Barnet, isn't it?
What was that?
Do we want to go Barnet? What
Barnet.
Do you want? Do we want Vikings? Do we want 1878 flags? Or do we go Bruce's old school and just bring a shitload of inflatables again?
Yeah, it's got to be the inflatables, I think. Because
inflatable Vikings.
Yeah. Forest Green is when it all started, wasn't it? Is that when it all kicked off?
Yeah, the guy with the beach ball got kicked out, didn't he, and manhandled.
Yeah, I was there that day. Brilliant. And it's got the inflatables. I was actually just thinking about another away game, which is next Tuesday, which is Wrexham away, and I've absolutely no idea how to get a ticket for that game.
Well,
are the Welsh government allowing you in?
Oh, yeah, it's back open now.
Yeah.
What, Wales?
Yeah. It's back open.
But I just thought with just a week to go that there would have been some kind of information about tickets. But anyway,
if the laws have only just changed, have they been holding off on selling tickets until they knew about it.
That's a fair point, Henry.
Fulham are 4-0 up. Anyway,
Well, I missed the start of the podcast. How did it feel to commentate on 2 wonder goals like that at the BP?
Very good, Henry. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Absolute pleasure to do it. Although I am a bit annoyed because I've listened back to both of them, and for both of them, I say, "Oh my word." I'd like to have mixed it up a bit more, but that was my instant reaction at the time, which is "Oh my word," which is a bit Murray Walker actually when I think about it.
If you'd have got Nigel Mansell into that on Saturday, I would have been most impressed.
Nigel Mansell.
Nigel Mansell, what a finish!
You've got to have
Senna was stranded.
I think people would have thought about it of having a breakdown live on air if I said Nigel Mansell.
Have you not practiced before, like your lines? Like, have you not like got a go-to when you see a worldie or a last-minute?
Well,
one?
yeah, no, I haven't. Apparently, it's "Oh my word." It's it's your brain saying "Don't swear, don't swear, don't swear." And
fucking hell! Look at that.
There's no way I would have been able to swear watching that. So you did well to contain yourself, I think.
I reckon, Alex, I reckon you've got a good chance there though, because I reckon you could quite easily adapt "Oh my word" to "Oh my bogle." I think you could bring that in quite easily if you needed to.
But I did see the video, Bruce, you did of combining me with Rolling, which was brilliant.
Yeah, you will not see a better. What was it? You'll not see a better goal on any pitch anywhere in the world.
Amazing.
Yeah, I took it down because I didn't want to get in trouble for not that I don't post all sorts of stuff anyway. But I wasn't sure.
John Moore's going to say to the boys round.
I wasn't sure whether it should be up there or not because it was filmed off the telly in the ground. But if they're going to show that and people have got cameras on the phones, then yeah, that's the way, Alex. If you want to see the goals after the games, just get somebody to go in the bar and then send you them. You'll get them about 25 hours earlier then.
I think the club should start a Patreon account somewhere, or like an OnlyFans account where you pay £5 a month and someone will go in and film the bar, like the bar highlights for you and throw them up there instead. And John Moore will occasionally get his kit off for you on it. So Scott shouts, "Oh my word!"
if we don't get any goals, then you get sort of Hursty ringing out the players' underpants or something.
I'm gonna turn this on thing because there's a bloody goal right going on there. Richard Young says Chesterfield are currently 2-0 down at Maidenhead. Not an easy place to go. Says Ollie Hudson said any mention of traction engines on the next goal. I mean, that's copyrighted by the BBC, isn't it?
That's Partridge. I can't copy that.
You can shout shit, though.
Well, no, I can't. That's the thing.
That's another one where he won't be invited back, Alex. The list is growing.
Ollie said every loss gets twisted to make Hurst look terrible. 1 in 10 wins, etc. There's always a stat that can be used. Context 1 in 1 at the moment. He's got 100%. He's got a what? Do you know what? Look back at the defeats. Like most of them, Halifax we played well. Halifax draw we played well. Notts County we played well. Chesterfield we played well. Like there's lots of games where we've been fine in it, and the run doesn't say everything. But
for me, I think there's a big discrepancy this year between home form and away form. I think you look at the 2 games we lost at home. Notts County deserved a point. Chesterfield deserved a point. The only difference really was sort of being clinical in front of goal. And there was stats on Twitter today about we've created the 5th most chances or 3rd most chances in the National League, which shows that we're not sort of clinical enough, and that's what cost us the 2 wins at home. But other than that, the home form's been excellent all season. Best I can remember it ever, really.
Do I get to play the jingle? Like, there's only one solution, surely, to
But yeah, Alex, just going back to that though. Sorry.
Yeah.
Your the away form, like Henry says, it's not that long ago that you've been bemoaning all the games you've been to, the away games and the performances.
It's been shit.
Yeah. Well, we haven't been that good then, have we? We haven't been. I've been to quite a few away games, and there was a period in the middle of that run where I'm not, like I say, I'm not Hurst in, I'm not Hurst out, but that recent run was bloody appalling, wasn't it? And the performances.
Wilson, you didn't know where we were going to get a goal from.
Wealdstone was awful. Solihull was one of the flattest performances I've ever seen attacked by a town team. There was just nothing. So there was something wrong. They've persevered. The players, I think we'd all agree, look like they're still, most of them, behind Hurst. But we've got to back up that result on Saturday now, because we got a good result against Southend, albeit not playing quite like that, against a poor side. And then we carried on with that poor run, didn't we? So we've got to back that up with some decent results now.
Can I ask you guys what you thought of the new signings on Saturday?
I didn't see them. I was waiting for your response.
The two fullbacks slotted in quite well, I thought. Was the right back, he's more of a centre half, isn't he?
Yeah.
I thought he looked quite comfortable playing out right. And I thought the left back, is it Amos?
Yeah.
Terrible names. Yeah, I thought he impressed as well. I thought they both had good debuts. The centre mid who came on for a couple of minutes, it's pretty hard to judge. But all in all, I think, yeah, no complaints at all, really, which, I don't know, I've tried to avoid Twitter as much as I can, really, this season, but I think, I don't know, there's always an instant reaction whenever you sign anybody at this level, and to be quite honest, like, unless you're a professional working in the league, the chances are none of us have ever seen them play, or at best have seen them play one game, maybe 2 years ago or something. So, yeah, I think until they've been in the team for a few games, they've settled in, they've trained with the team, it's hard to make a judgment. But I think as far as debuts go, I thought the two starters did really well.
I thought they were solid. They'll both get harder games, won't they? But I thought the right back, especially Smith, who played right back, he looked very assured on the ball, and I think it shows the quality of the players that they've got in the academies now in the Championship. That when you think of the players that we've got on loan when we've been at this level, from young players from the Championship, I think of Connor Townsend, that lad, his first touch was good, his head straight up, and he's finding our players to feet. And that's all you can ask for from a fullback, really. Because we were playing 4-4-2 on Saturday, weren't we? So they're not having to, you're not expecting the fullbacks to bomb on like we were in the previous formations that we have been playing. So generally his job is to get to the halfway line and then give it to the doers, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right, Bruce. They will have a harder test. Altrincham didn't really offer anything on Saturday, but you can only sort of play with against who's in front of you, and they did the job and they did it well. So yeah, good start for both of them.
I think Saturday be interesting because they're another side that's going quite well, but as you said previously, Henry, that our home form's been, pretty exceptional, really. I don't fear anyone in this league at home.
No, I think just I had a quick look. It's 1-8, lost 2, drawn 1. I think if we win on Saturday, it'll be an over 80% win rate, sort of at the end of January, which I think even.
And the defeats, you got to think, are all last minute.
Even with Hurst, the year we went up, it wasn't anywhere near that. And I'm not sure what Buckley's was, but I'll have to delve into it at some point. But I think, if we keep this sort of pace up at home, you're going to be there or thereabouts, regardless of your away form, really.
Let's wrap up. Hurst, we used to be better away, didn't we, Alex? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, Nick Rook said Smith looks really bit of class. Mariner Hoda says Smith, I thought was really adapting to be well at right back. Anyone got anything to add on the new ones? Then we'll come back and we'll talk about Alex Hunt going to Oldham. Oh, Henry's actually gone.
Nothing to add. I think the fullbacks were fine, and we only had a couple of minutes of the midfielder. So
nice. Okay, right. We'll be back for part 2. That was the closest I can get to a transition thing.
That is. Hang on, how long have you been doing that? How many have I missed?
That's the first one. You want the other one? Hang on, here we go. Here's the best one. I was trying to get this in earlier, but you're kept interrupting.
A lot of time for that one.
Well, it's been ruined now, hasn't it? Now that old Philip Noncehead has gone on, on the fishy talking about it, it's like your mum going on Facebook and ruining it for everyone. The fun's over. The Bogle klaxon is dead. We're gonna have to have a ceremonial burning at the next game.
So just start the Podge klaxon instead now, Alex.
Podge klaxon. I haven't got one for that yet. I'll make one. Ollie says, "What about the rumor for the guy from Bolton? Is this the guy who's had a controversial history?
Is it Staley Bridge where Montel Gibson is?
Stourbridge.
Stourbridge. Did we all see that today?
Yeah.
So for anyone that's not aware, is it the Stourbridge vice chairman? I think it might have been the vice chairman was on Twitter replying to Montel Gibson, who has left the club along with another chap whose name I forget. And Montel and this other chap were away at trials, and the chairman or vice chairman replied and basically said that the other lad called him from Grimsby.
From the Grimsby.
From the Grimsby. But on the club official statement, it suggested that they wanted to go to trials that they weren't authorised to. So maybe we had this lad on trial, and Gibson said that he's on a non-contract at Stourbridge. So it might be a case that they all are, and Hurst was just having a look. But
his career history didn't look out of the ordinary, did it?
Oh, was it to do with drug use or something? We won't go into any further.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean that. No, I meant his stats. His stats. He's been at about 8 clubs, or I don't know how old he is, but he's been at about 8 clubs. And somebody put his wiki page on social media, and he's had a lot of clubs and not a lot of success by the looks of it.
He was quite liked at Bolton, I think, wasn't he? But Stephen McDade came in and said, the getting to the crux of the matter is how the hell has Montel Gibson got a blue tick on Twitter?
Alex, if Montel Gibson has a blue tick, you should get a blue tick. That's what
I don't want to do blue ticks for the podcast. That's so up your. We could embed videos, I guess. I think that's the difference.
It doesn't take much to have a blue. No, it doesn't take much.
Matt Dannett's got it.
Matt Dannett's still got one from his Telegraph days, hasn't he?
If Matt Dannett can get one, then anyone can get one, surely.
He's not going to be the only person on my street with a blue tick. I'm disappointed. Does Jason have a blue tick?
No.
Oh, we got to beat him to it. How do we do it? Do we know anyone on Twitter? I mean, we got people from Apple apparently who do stuff with the club. Is anyone, anyone work at Twitter? Get us a blue tick.
Maybe we could redesign the Twitter bird.
I mean, she will look good with a great 1878 flag on the top of its head.
Yes, like it.
So Alex Hunt, Agent Hunt, has gone on and has decided his next job is to go to Oldham and make sure Scunny are absolutely certain to be relegated. He's gone from a club that's doing pretty well off the pitch to one that's on fire off it. What's the thought process around that? The club were apparently looking at permanent signing for him. Was that a bit of a shot in the dark?
I've heard a few things. I think.
Ooh, rumour.
The sort of two streams that I've heard is that we wanted him either on a permanent or on loan, but we covered all of his wages was the stipulation. And I don't know, there's been various figures bandied about that are sort of higher than we'd be willing to pay, I think. I'm not sure, to be brutally honest, how much of a loss it is to the team. His set pieces were brilliant, but he wasn't playing every week, and he still wasn't playing every week, even when we were out of form. So maybe Hurst looked at his budget and thought, can I afford that for someone who I'm not comfortable starting every single week? And from Hunt's perspective, if he's staying at Wednesday, Oldham are on fire, but he can go there not too far away from Sheffield, I suppose, down the M62, and he might have a chance of playing more games. I don't know, even though it is a step up, but he wasn't playing every week. So I think maybe that has more to do with it than anything else.
Anyone got anything else to
Yeah,
add on
I
him
would say
and his time?
he
go ahead.
he dropped off. He was pretty poor at Stockport in that trophy game, and he was at fault for one of the goals at least. I think I got asked this last Tuesday on air, and I said at the time, and I still say it now, like his form dropped along with all the other players. You know, at the start of the season, he was brilliant, and then all of a sudden it just tailed off. But he wasn't the only one. And I'm not surprised that he's not stayed. He's stuck around. All right, he's gone to Oldham, but it's still football league. I don't think he'd had any other loan spells at any other clubs. So I think Grimsby was his first one, if I remember correctly. So although he had played for Sheffield Wednesday a few times. So yeah, we'll see how he gets on at Oldham. It's a bit of a strange one. Geographically, Henry, I'm not sure if I reckon Grimsby would be easier to get to than Oldham from Sheffield,
especially during the winter mucks. Snake pass.
But it is. But yeah, from the outside, it does seem like they're a bit of a crackpot club, Oldham Athletic. So yeah, it is an odd one.
He'll get stuck on the Woodhead Pass a couple of times, and he'll be begging us to come back.
From a loanees perspective, though, joining a crackpot club never seemed to stop anyone joining Ian Holloway's Grimsby, because we had about 20 loanees at one point, didn't we?
Well, it's true. Yeah, we had this probably this time last year. No, maybe just over a year ago when we had players joining us on loan when Grimsby were bottom of the league. So yeah, you're right, Henry.
You guys have seamlessly jumped into a question I was going to talk about. I saw somewhere, because we are always massively prepared on this podcast, that there was only one other club in this league that has been more dependent on loans than any other club in the National League. That's not been Hurst's modus operandi at this club before, where he's been heavily reliant on loans. He's brought them in, but we've had quite a few, and it's during COVID where they can all, as we've seen, been called back. Has that been a mistake to be reliant on so many loans? Henry?
I think you can look at that two ways. We've got the second most loanees, or whatever you just said, for the National League, but also I think when I counted in 2021, we made 27 permanent signings when Hurst was in charge. You know, he's completely rebuilt the squad twice in a year. Once when he first joined to try and keep us up, and then when that didn't work, there were very, very few. Bruce giving us all PTSD there on screen. There are very, very few.
I was reading Twitter. What did he show?
His penis.
Oh, okay, fine. Didn't know the camera had zoomed in that much. All right. Oh my God, it is a penis.
But I think the number of loanees is a product of the fact that he rebuilt the squad once in January with 12 signings, I think it was. He came in and said he wanted 6 when he first joined and ended up signing 12. And then that didn't work. He's been most of them, apart from maybe 2 or 3 who aren't even in the squad. And then
they got recalled back, didn't they?
I think to do that and to get a squad big enough, you have to rely on loanees with our budget, really. I think that's all it's a product of. We don't have a core of 10 or 12, 14 contracted players like we did when we were challenging when he was last here after a few years. So I don't think that's Hurst's medium-term strategy. I think he wants to sort the core out of the squad that will keep signing up like it did last time. And then you sort of add to it with loans throughout the season. But I think having dropped down with such a bad squad, it was just needs must to build the squad, I think.
That was a very reasonable response. I don't like it. I mean, there's questions coming in, bits coming in quick and thick and fast here. Aurora Edwards has gone to Colchester United. Anyone got anything to say about the... I mean, Sean Pearson is a better dribbler, surely.
He had an amazing run on Saturday, Pearson, all the way from the back right up to the edge of the penalty area.
He's going to get one of them in one day, isn't he?
Just to hit it.
Yeah, the space just wasn't there, was it, to smash it? But I would have said, "Oh my word!" again.
Yeah. I think the title for the podcast is sorted. Jay Matete looked superb in a shite team. He did. He's looking at moving elsewhere at the moment. Oh, that's a good point. The time is running out to sell old Sariki Dembele, isn't it? Are we likely to get any money for the old mercenary at Peterborough?
When's the clause expire? Do you know?
It will be when the contract expires, won't it?
Is it 6 months?
Yeah, he's only got to the end of this season.
I don't know. Well, it doesn't bode well.
What happens when it runs out? Do we get a glamorous friendly against Peterborough?
Oh God, could you
Instead.
imagine the brightness?
Bag of balls.
Oh, Barry Fry's bag of balls. Oh. Oh,
that could be a pod rival title. That one. Barry Fry's bag of balls. My oh my.
Oh my word.
Oh my word. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm worried about that one because that would have been a nice little payout, but it looks like Peterborough being dicks like they usually are to us. But there we go. Maybe one day we'll get above them.
He's normally very shrewd, Darren. Is it Darren McAntony?
Yeah.
He's normally very shrewd, isn't he? He doesn't normally let this sort of thing happen. If a player's going to go, he would have got some money for him either in the summer or this window. Admittedly, the rate's dropping all the time. They're not going to get more than $500,000 for him now. You wouldn't have thought, with 6 months remaining on his contract. They were talking about several million at one point, weren't they?
I've just done the stupid thing and typed in the word Dembele into Twitter, into Google, and it's just come up with people who play for Barcelona, which I don't care about.
He's 25, so there's not going to be any. He's not going to be any compensation due to anybody.
Oh, there we go. He's only rated 68 on FIFA, apparently, so he's not even worth it. Can someone buy Fenty's house with a clause to get rid of his loans at the club? I mean, that house is a house of nightmares. I don't know anyone else who had the pleasure of taking a tour around Hyacinth's Bouquet's luxury Grimsby Manor. But, oh my God, the fabric, so much fabric.
For anyone that's seen Futurama, his house gives strong Zap Brannigan vibes to me.
Who's his Kif? Is that who would be the Kif in that meeting?
I forget all the old board members' names, but who was the one who said we were going to be in the championship in 5 years?
That was Day, wasn't it?
Philip Day about 3 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Only 2 years left. We're going to be awesome.
We're there yet. we need about 40 more derbies, don't we?
How stupid was that? We've got no plan, no organizer, no money, but we're going to be in the championship in 5 years' time.
Shut up.
Spent the operation promotion money on the chandeliers. Probably did. And I want to say the pelts. What are the things that cover the curtain rails at the top? I think they're called pelts, but there was a lot of them. It looked a lot of velour.
If that would stand, that building would stand less chance of getting a safety certificate than the main stand. It was that much of a fire risk. There was that much material and wood. It'd go up like a bonfire.
Can you imagine him just stood against the fireplace as after another defeat? They just keep calling for my name. Oh, Nick Rook's got the word of it. Pelmets. That's right, Nick. Well done. I was close. I mean, I'm not usually known for my sartorial wording, but there we go. Who is worse, Boris, Fenty, or Massey? I mean, I don't know. They're all pretty terrible. Has anybody got anything to add before we go? Because we're petering out.
I got the pleasure of working at the Memories Hub. Did I mention that before? For a session that Christine's done and the Trust have done through the Sports and Education Trust, I think. It was very, very good, and it was nice to see a lot of people in there. And there's a lot of hard work gone into it. That's in town, opposite Eskimo, off the Bull Ring. Is it the Bull Ring? That end. Well worth a visit. Go and see Christine, who's doing a sterling job, working nearly every shift, I think. Along with other helpers, full of Grimsby Town memorabilia and people that want to talk about the club. So, yeah, if you're in town, get down and say hello to them.
Can you buy stuff from it?
you could before Christmas. I sold. There was quite a roaring trade actually the day I was there. They're just selling little bits. They're not
I've
allowed
just got to buy something to get out of here.
It's not really. Yeah, it's not really. They're not really allowed to. I don't think they're allowed to sell too much, but they do sell some little bits. They've got some really nice prints. I don't know if you've seen anybody put them on social media. The Clive Mendonca or the fish at Wimbledon. And there's a Tony Ford one as well that looked really nice. That would be good, framed and stuff. But yeah, well worth a visit. Go and say hello. They've got biscuits.
And it's Great Grimsby Day this Saturday. So, we've got, if you've got any clubs going, whether it be football clubs, cricket clubs, Cubs, Beavers, anything, the club are giving away free tickets to kids. So get in contact with them as soon as you can because they want the place packed. And 4,500 against Altrincham suggests that patience has waned a little bit on the form. But 4,500 is still not bad.
Considering it was January and it was absolutely Baltic, I thought that wasn't a bad attendance, really, considering our form.
Pontoon looked quite full, Henry, didn't it? I don't know what the upper was like, but the pontoon looked fairly full, apart from a few at the Findus end, if you like, or the corner, the Imperial corner.
There was about 100 away fans, so it is 4,500 home fans. I think
that was my best. Sorry, mate.
I think in January when it was Baltic for me. I don't know about you, Bruce, whether you're harder than me, but I was absolutely frozen watching that game. So I think all things considered, and you got 2 more games coming up at home. I think it's a decent turnout.
Yeah, we've got the rearranged. What's the game on the 4th of or the midweek, first week of Feb? We've got a Tuesday night game now, haven't we? Is that Boreham Wood?
I'd imagine so.
It's Kings Lynn. No, it's Kings Lynn. You're right, Scott. When's Boreham Wood then?
Not a clue. Ollie Hodson is doing our job for us. He said anyone going to Docks after the game for the Grimsby exhibition and beer. I mean, they're doing a bus now. I mean, he's not asking you if you're going and you want to meet up, Bruce. I think it was just, generic question.
Well, I can't go. That's all I'm saying. I can't go. I'd love to, but
it looks like a cracking idea. Yeah. I guess we're back to winning ways, gents. I mean, is this how it's going to be now? No worries. Back to the top of the league.
I think we still need a few players in, most especially a striker. I think that's the one thing that maybe worried me a little bit. I thought Taylor looked tired after 2 games in a week.
I'm hovering over the get Bogle button.
He's not scored since mid-November?
Who's Taylor?
The Southend game, yeah. And so we do need a striker. I'm not saying get Bogle in, but I know Hurst sort of avoids the issue in the interviews, but I think we are to contend later in the season, and we do need someone in who's going to score a few goals alongside Taylor or rotating with Taylor just to give him a bit of a breather, I think.
Alex, can we do a little? I'll do a prediction for the weekend. If we're obviously it's Tuesday, isn't it? We're recording again on Sunday, I assume. Let's see how confident people are that we've turned a corner with score predictions. Sorry,
who are we playing?
Bromley.
Yeah, fuck them. We're gonna win 4-0. Fuck the little part-time shits.
I think it'll be tight, but I think we'll win. I think 2-1.
I think 2-0 win. I think we're really strong at home.
I'm going to say 1-0.
Right. That's it then. We're going to win. We are back on it, Alex. In answer to your question there. The pod has spoken.
Right. It's been a pleasure to speak to everyone. It's a pleasure to see you all as well. Come back to us with any questions throughout the weeks. We'll go through it. Oh, I've got I think I'm in the program this week.
Which week?
I've got
Bromley.
Such a shill these days, Alex. Such a shill.
I've got that little. I think I've got that little cod Grimbarian piece or something.
It's not an advert for Pioneers.
You've sold out.
I've sold out. You used to be so different. But have a read of that if you want to laugh, because that'll be stupid. And I'm sure Leanne took some my much exalted wife, took some very kind pictures of us all interviewing Jason and Andrew, but she didn't want to get up, so she took them all from behind my head, and I'm going very bald. So none of them are seeing the light of day. But there we go.
I don't remember anyone taking pictures that night.
Yeah, she was taking pictures on the phone.
Oh.
But she did it from sat behind us, so all you can see is my fat head and big luncheon meat balding spot at
They
the
were
top.
very well behaved, your family, I have to say, Alex.
They really were, weren't they? They're so tired of listening to me drone on. But yeah, it'll be amazing, and I'm looking forward to getting back to London Park again. Shame it can't be this Saturday. But thank you all for listening. Scott, thank you for your oh my word commentary. It will long live in the memory of town fans.
Superb.
Can I share Scott on rolling to finish us? Can I do that?
Yeah, of course you can. I'll do the thing after.
Share. Hang on then. Let's go out with this then. Share. No pressure. Video file. Will that do it?
Should do.
Right, here we go. Town.
Hang on, he's worried about getting in trouble with the club a minute ago. Why is he doing it on ours?
All right, here we go. McAtee.
Side Maguire drew into the penalty area. It goes. Heads go up. It's cleared. Comes out to McAtee with the shot on the volley. Oh my word! What an absolutely sensational goal from John McAtee.
You will not see a better goal on any pitch anywhere in the world. That was absolutely first class play. I want to see that one again.
Corner.
I mean,
seamless.
Scott, that wasn't agonising for you, was it?
That was a little bit Stephen Hawking version of me, but
in Mother Russia we use potato for internet.
But thanks for that. No, thanks for that, Bruce. No, thanks for that, Bruce. I will never tire of seeing that goal. I will tire of hearing me, but I will never tire of seeing that goal.
So please do make sure that if you have put up the goal on Twitter, that you remove it and just add it up with Scott's commentary. Bruce will get it up in the next 20 minutes. So he'll only ever be able to find it with, oh my word, taped to it.
I'm going to do it with that one that's filmed from the main stand. I like that one. The one that everyone says is the best angle.
That is the best angle of the lot.
Give me 5 minutes.
Brilliant. Okay, well, pleasure to speak to everyone. Great to see you guys. Henry, great to have you back. I hope everything is going well in the fields.
It's wet.
Yeah, great stuff. Thank you, Ali. Bruce, thank you. Always a pleasure. Love the 98 shirt up in on the wall.
Thank you.
And thank you all for listening. We shall see you all very soon. I will go, and I've not even lined this up again.
Scunthorpe United have lost 4-0 at home to Exeter City this afternoon.
Love it.